Well, welcome to the
Hello.
Four Students Podcast. It's me, Ed, your friend and favorite Kellie. And I'm excited about today because the student, Ryan, that we have on is interning with us this summer. Amazing guy. He kind of jumped in and started helping us when he was in 10th grade. Grew up in this incredible family.
Yeah.
It's a really, really cool conversation that we end up having with him.
He's also just like so wonderful and joyful.
Yeah.
And you can just feel it coming off of him. Like he's just really, really cool.
Yeah.
Like him a lot.
He's obviously addicted to helping people.
Yeah.
He's like, he loves helping people because he just gives so much of his time. And fortunately, it's not just like I love helping people, but he's also a person that has to stay busy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool that he spends that time staying busy helping other people. That's really fun.
So last summer, maybe last fall, I went to a show at Blumenthal, which is like our
Like one of our community theaters.
It's not even community
Yeah,
theater.
I
it's
guess
where
it's not.
like traveling
the
Broadway shows come.
Yeah.
And so I went with a friend to see I think it was Back to the Future.
Like the Broadway show back
which
to the
was
Future?
really good, by the way. And we sat down, and across the way, I saw Ryan.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Dressed in his vest and his tie because he was an usher.
No way.
He volunteers.
Volunteers at Blumenthal.
Yes, at Blumenthal, because that's like the little old people that you see.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That are
With
ushers.
all the pins all over their vests from all the shows they've been to.
Yes. So he volunteers and does that with all these little old people.
I love that. That makes so much sense,
And
actually.
literally, I couldn't get to him. I couldn't because there was just people everywhere. But I was in that moment. I was like, oh, I love you so much more now.
I know. I really
Like,
loved
that
you
is
before,
so
but now
cool.
that is really cool. And I bet he gets to see a bunch of shows
Heck
for
yeah.
free as
It's
he's like help people
amazing.
find their seats, and people
I
are so
wanna do it.
excited as they're finding their seats because they're coming to the show.
I know. You
So
probably
the
have
people
so
you
many
interact
good
with is so fun.
conversations. Yeah.
That's really
So-
cool. I didn't know that about him, that he volunteered at Blumenthal. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Been involved in theater, you said, since he's in the 2nd grade. So it's kind of cool to hear that story.
Yep.
And also, like, this family of three kids, older brother,
Right.
him, middle child, younger sister, incredible, loving, but very high-achieving parents. And so kind of gets into that unspoken thing of, like, they never really kind of had to, like, force us, but it was always kind of expected, like, when you go to college, when, you know. And they all ended up in these very high-performing spaces. But he talks a little bit about like having this older brother who is a college athlete. His dad was a college athlete, but here he is, like gay middle son who's like in theater, a little different. But it's kind of, I love the way he kind of talks about how his parents treated him during all of that. And like, you know, it's really neat. Just lovely, incredible people. It's just a great interview. And then he's interning with us this summer, so it's so
Which
fun.
is so exciting. Just to have him around the table.
Yeah, just to have him around the table. Him and 3 other OGs from the beginning of this organization.
Which one of them I actually haven't even met yet.
Who, Cam?
Emerson.
Oh, you've never met him, but you have met Cam? That's cool.
I think so. Yeah, I've never met Emerson. I've heard the name a million times, but I have not had the opportunity to sit around the table yet. So that'll be really fun.
Emerson is this interesting, like, and I think she would not be surprised me saying this, like a little bit odd. Like she's just kind of like this. You can just tell she's processing things and like sees things and feels things in a little bit differently than a lot of the students around her, which makes her really fun to be around. Yeah. And she studied abroad in Italy. I want to say it may have been for an entire year.
Wow, that's so fun.
Of high school, which is wild. I think that's when it happened. And it was there that she met Frankie. And she and Frankie started talking about their experience. All the dominoes fell, so that Students for Students started at another school.
So
really
cool.
neat. Yeah, so I'm excited for these people to get to hear this.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great interview. Check out This Time with Ryan Samii. So, text survivor.
Yes.
I like literally we were just you and Kellie started talking about this and I'm like, no, stop talking. We have to record this. I want to know what this is. I've never heard of such a thing. What is text survivor?
Okay, so there's this senior that I met at Northwestern through my theater board, which is like essentially an arts administration group who like puts on student theater. Okay. I'm on Wave. And this person was a senior who has since graduated from Northwestern, but I got to know them a little bit through that, and they were like involved with the Survivor Club at Northwestern, and like
Survivor Club.
There's a Survivor Club. It's like 2 quarters long. It starts in the winter, and they have meetings at like 7 a.m. I think I'm gonna try and play next year, because I met some of the Survivor people through like playing. I played Big Brother Northwestern twice.
You've already played twice?
I have played twice
but you've only been in school there a year.
That one they do
fall and spring.
It's just like a one night event, like 5 hours in like a classroom. There's an entire wiki page about it. If you look up Big Brother Northwestern wiki,
I am. I'm looking.
Do that.
I'm on season 16 and 17. It was just started by this senior. His name is Drew Slager, who just loves these games and wanted to be involved with them. And then this summer he was like, I'm not employed yet, so I'm gonna do a summer Survivor game over text. And he has since found a job, which makes it a little harder.
Bit more complicated.
But basically, it started yesterday. We have 2 tribes of 11 people who he has met just through his time at Northwestern. I'm one of like 2 of the freshmen, rising sophomores that are playing. And yeah, essentially there's some sort of virtual competition. The one that we had yesterday was a reward challenge, and there was like, it was called Dig Deep, and it was a 200 slideshow that he sent out to us. And then we had to kind of comb through the slides, and there were like invisible letters on some of them, and we had to find all 14 of them and do a word scramble. My tribe lost, which was kind of sad.
Okay.
But
redemption.
yeah, but then we have our first immunity challenge today, right after this.
That's crazy. So what was a reward? What did the other tribe win?
We don't really know. It'll be something that benefits them at the immunity challenge today, but then they also got to pick the 2 people who went to Summit, which is like some cross tribal interactions.
Like You're going on a journey.
Exactly. But
this is fascinating.
This is so fun. Let's do this.
It's just like a passion project of Drew's, and he like has made up so many of these challenges and games just because he loves the social game.
That's incredible.
Like all these different social games.
I love that.
Yeah, and so you've obviously gotten to know Drew a little bit through all of this. What was he doing at Northwestern? Was he in directing? Does he want to be a producer? Like, what does he want to do?
So he was a theater and cognitive science major.
That makes so much sense.
And he extracurricularly did a lot of acting and stage managing.
Yeah.
Just kind of trading off between the 2. And we have one theater board called Sit and Spin, which is dedicated to like experimental theater. And his senior year, he did this thing called Locus, which he took our like standard student theater space, which is essentially a shack, and converted it into an escape room that's like testing the senses. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And it was just like a passion project of his to combine these games with this like theatrical experience. Like there were 5 different rooms associated with like the senses, and it was such a cool experience. And his brain is just genius.
That's so cool. And he's obviously learned so much about humans.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like not just by interacting with them in these really trying situations through theater. I mean, it's a very stressful world.
Yeah, for sure.
And vulnerable world. But then to study cognitive science as well, like to know the human brain literally. That's really cool. That's fun.
Maybe we should have him on the podcast.
Maybe we should have Drew.
Get some ideas about
what up, Drew?
What games we
may be reaching out to you.
He's in Chicago right now.
Yes. Texting at work because his new job because he's got a is he basically like the Jeff Probst of like the text survivor?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We have like a group chat with everyone for tree mail, and we have a group chat with our tribe, which is I think called Besu, which means companion in Vulcan.
Vulcan. That's Vulcan. Star Trek. That's hilarious.
And the other group is Trava, which I think means friend in Vulcan. I don't know.
That's fascinating.
But it's just a fun, silly little thing that I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that this summer. That sounds like a blast.
That's so fun. So while we're at Northwestern in our conversation, you've now been at college for a year.
I have.
What has this been like?
Really crazy. I'm very busy a lot of the time.
Yeah.
For context, I'm a theater and chemistry double major at Northwestern. So I'm either like in classes or like working on a show or something.
Yeah.
This year I've worked a lot behind the scenes on shows. I was an assistant stage manager and then an assistant producer and then an assistant director, just to kind of like try it all because why not?
To fill up every waking hour with something.
Exactly. And yeah, so the Northwestern Student Theater, there are so many shows at like all the time. So there's never a lack of opportunities to be involved with a show. And they each have rehearsals for like 20 hours a week, which is essentially a part-time job.
Without question.
Yeah.
On top of like course load.
Right.
And the theater classes are easier, which lends itself to like the ability to work on these extracurricular shows, because that, I think the department kind of relies on like you getting that experience and being able to put that on your resume as well as like the classes and like the theory behind everything and like what it means to act and what it means to direct and stuff, but then actually being able to practically apply those. But then I also have the flip side of like the chemistry classes,
Sounds
which
so hard.
are not particularly easy.
And a very different group of people, probably.
Yeah.
You are probably one of the few chemistry.
You'd be surprised.
Are there a bunch of chemistry theater majors?
Not
majors?
chemistry specifically.
Oh,
but
that's what I was
STEM
thinking.
Based.
Yes.
There was one guy who came in as a chemistry and theater double major and has since switched to bio. But
so biotheater or biochemistry?
Bio and theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like I got rid of theater altogether.
I have a friend. She's a theater and math double major. I have a friend who's theater and environmental science.
So this is this truly like these people are that? Because those are two such, you know, seemingly opposite interests. Is it just like we're that oppositely interested, or I love theater, but I want to actually make some kind of money when I like graduate school?
It's a little mix of both.
Yeah.
There's some people I've talked to that are like, I love theater, but my parents want me to have a real major. But most of the people, one of the big draws of the theater program at Northwestern is like the ability to double major and not like limit yourself into that BFA kind of eat, sleep, act.
Yeah.
Sing, like dance. That's like all you do.
Right.
Because it's just that a BFA in musical theater is essentially a triple major in acting, singing, and dancing. And it's intense training.
Yes,
that is
I would
not
think.
what Northwestern has. We have a BA program, which is just like Bachelor of Arts versus Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Oh, okay, now I understand what you're saying. Got it.
Yeah,
got it.
sorry.
Yes.
Which is a lot more liberal arts based. We have kind of like an overview of a bunch of different theatrical endeavors. We have like the academic literature criticism side, and then we have the design and management side, and then we have the performance side, and we have to fulfill classes within each of those three distributions.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's very much kind of a wide breadth of information about theater versus like the depth of just the study of acting and performance that a lot of BFA programs give.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot of the people who are in the theater program are drawn to that and the ability to explore other academic adventures.
That's cool.
That's really, really cool.
What has the social aspect been like? That's the thing I always think about.
Yeah. I have found myself, especially because I've worked so on shows like extracurricularly, I've found a lot of my friends through like the theater department.
That makes a lot
of
sense. I get that.
There are also 100 theater majors per grade, which is a lot in comparison to other schools, because we have like actors and stage managers and directors versus just like a program of 24 actors.
Right.
And designers. There are a lot of like set designer, lighting designer, sound designer,
costume.
So I'm looking at this microphone
you're
and I'm like,
oh,
hey,
sound design. I know this.
But yeah, so there are a lot of people, but there are also a lot of different people, and I really enjoy it because I think it brings in a much more diverse perspectives to like the art that we're creating, which is, I think, super important. And like the ability to have so many different people contribute to this piece or any piece of art, I just feel like makes it that much more impactful. And I've found friends through kind of like the chemistry department and my chem classes, but those tend to be friends that I'll like text about the problem
Content.
sets or like, how are you feeling about this test? Let's go
Right.
study together versus
Yeah.
like, let's go hang out. Let's go to this
Right.
party together type thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Can you remember any of one of those like early awkward moments, like with some of these people as you're making friends? And I don't know, kind of what it felt like to walk through that awkward and it becomes something, you know, on the other side of it?
Yeah. I, as a person, like tried to deflect that awkwardness as much as possible.
What do you mean by that? Describe what you mean.
I like to think that I'm a pretty outgoing person.
Yes, you are.
And I think I'm usually able to like start conversations and keep them going.
Yeah.
Like, even if the person I'm talking to isn't particularly engaging
Sure.
as much. But then I think a lot of my close relationships came out of the people that like I was able to engage with pretty like well off right off the bat, where it's like, I feel like we get along like at the beginning. Like my best friend I met at Admitted Students Day, like last year. And then we were texting a little over the summer, and then we were in the same PA group, which is like the group that you go through orientation with.
Okay.
Because we do like a week-long orientation before first day of class.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we ended up in the same PA group, and then we've just kind of like hung out ever since. Shout out Abby Pearson. Love her.
What up, Abby?
I was literally about to say, like,
You're a real one, Abby.
what's their name?
She was
awesome.
actually just visiting me last week.
Oh, yeah. You said that she was a friend.
Yeah.
That was one of the friends that was
That's so
coming into
fun.
town.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's crazy to me that I've already made like such strong connections that I'm like, hey, come stay at my house for a week.
No kidding.
And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And we had so much fun. I've like never explored the city in that way. Like,
Yeah,
I
imagine
learned
not.
so much about the city just by showing other people.
Yeah.
And it made me kind of like home more than I had before.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's
What a
really
neat
cool.
thing.
Yeah.
And so, like when you, because I was thinking about this, did any of those friends that you made share with you about any, because I guess, I don't know, theater is kind of interesting. You're in an interesting spot because
Yeah.
most people are comfortable at least getting up and delivering
Right.
lines or in some way or another.
Right.
So they can act their way through until perhaps something real, happens.
Yeah.
But I was just curious. Yeah. Because I know people listening, you've now completed a year of what these people who just graduated are now like going to go try and do.
Right.
And so I'm always trying to pull like, oh, what did you learn? What did, what jumped out at you?
I mean, what I think is like super important to go in thinking / knowing is just like everyone entering their first year is in the same position of like everyone's entering this new space, even if they know some people from back home, like they're about to be surrounded by so many new people. And people like to be social. Most people like to be social and find connections and find friendships. Like friendship is such an inherently like human thing that everyone is going to be looking for those first few weeks, for those first few months, for these new connections, new friendships, especially because like we're at schools that we tend to have like chosen for ourselves because of XYZ. But we've all somehow, our journeys have ended up in the same place. And I think that's super powerful and super fun and exciting to like get to know other people and see like what crazy journeys they've taken to get here and like what brought them to the place that you also have chosen to come to. And like people are just at that point like so also excited to get to know other people, I think.
They're like open.
Yes, exactly.
Open-minded.
Yes.
Like things are not solidified at this point, and everybody's looking for new friends. So take advantage of those moments.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if you're not a more socially awkward person, like that's your time to like be outgoing. Like,
stretch yourself during that time.
during that time.
Find as many people as
Find people
possible.
because those other people on the other side are also open.
And I had so many conversations that was like, hey, what's your name? What's your major? Where are you from? And then that's the only time I've ever talked to that person. And like,
And
if I
that's
see them
okay.
now, I probably wouldn't recognize them. But there was still just like this shared experience of like, we're all freshmen, we're all experiencing this really new thing together, and kind of like that community and camaraderie that was able to come out of that, I think was really fun and exciting.
That's cool.
I think other people would have the same experience. Maybe not think it's fun and exciting. They would think it's like terrifying and all of those things.
They describe it.
But the same experience across the board. So.
Yeah. No, that's a great observation. You were in the same room at the same exact time, and someone else is telling a story. It was so scary, and I felt so
scariest moment of my entire life.
And you're like, oh, it's great. I met these people, and I just talked to them, and they didn't have much to say, so I moved on to the next person and started talking to them. Yeah, it's so funny that way. Yeah. What have you learned about Ryan? What have you learned about yourself, like over this past year? That's maybe you're like, whoa, I didn't.
That's an interesting question. No, there's so many things that either like I took for granted back here from high school, or that I kind of accepted as normal in high school that like I don't think are particularly normal.
Do you have
I cannot wait to hear what these are. I know, I cannot wait. That's great categories. I can't wait to hear these specifics.
I'm trying to think about how to say this in like the correct way, but I feel like I came from Charlotte Latin, which is a pretty small private high school here in Charlotte, and I had been going there since kindergarten, and I felt like I had been kind of like holed into this like vision of like who I was as like Ryan Samii, GSA leader, theater kid. Like that was like people would see me and that was what they would associate me with. And like, which isn't necessarily a negative thing. I just felt like a lot of my identity in high school was tied in with my sexuality.
Oh, interesting.
And kind of people saw me through that lens. And with most of the people I interacted with, I didn't necessarily get to break out of that as much as I would have hoped to, which I don't think is necessarily a negative thing. Like I had a positive experience in high school and like I had a lot of great relationships and I met a lot of cool people. But,
and I think you were held in very high esteem. You won like homecoming king.
I guess.
Like your senior year of high school as a gay student. So that's kind of like, that's kind of an amazing thing for a small school.
But now being at a school like Northwestern where it's like, it's such a large community. Like there are 2,000 people per grade, which isn't as big as some other schools might be. But it's also something that like, that's something that doesn't come up as much in terms of like
that makes sense.
Who I am. Like I feel like I have now defined myself in like theater and chemistry major and like my interest in like these social games and stuff and stuff like that, where it's less so things that are tied in with my identity as much as like who I want to be in life.
Well, it's like you get a start over. Like you get to write it now. Like you get to decide what other people think about you and what you're doing. Like it's just like this little restart button where you get to make all the decisions instead of like people observing your life and making assumptions about you. And
just with anyone we have history with, we can't help but see them. We get to know them in a certain way, and then you just kind of our brains simplify things. It starts to make things lower resolution, and we just kind of just categorize somebody like, oh, that's Ryan the theater kid, and like, because I've always known you that way, but you're so much more than that, and so it sounds like kind of that's what you're saying. This chance to, I can like choose what I want to highlight or hold out for people to know really me by. I get to decide.
And I feel like I'm seen in a more holistic way.
That's
now.
Awesome. Yeah.
Probably because I feel like I'm able to put myself out there in a more holistic way and like talk about my different interests and all this different stuff versus like these are like the three things that people know about me, and this is what they expect me to talk about. So
so I guess I need to show.
Like
but not that I like didn't
identity.
Want to talk about those things in high school. It just like feels more open now. That I'm not around the same people I've been with since kindergarten.
Yeah, that's a fascinating observation.
I'm sure there's other people who maybe their high school experience was more negative in that, and they would feel encouraged to hear that moving away, going somewhere else is more of like this reset because you're saying it's like it wasn't all of that. It wasn't bad. I did want to talk about all of those things and like it was true and all of those things, but easily could have been a different story.
Yeah.
And so that opportunity to start over is really, really important.
Yeah. I just think I, as a person, try to like find the positive in like those moments that I have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously we can't change anything about our past. So I try to like embrace everything and like find the positive side of things, and like, everything that happened has led me to where I am now. And I am really enjoying where I am now. So
cool.
Do you think have you kind of always been that way, or is that something you learned?
I think there was always just a part of my brain that was wired that way, which I'm so grateful for. But I think that that's something that I have throughout my life been kind of like cognizant of, and always thinking about cultivate. Like, okay, maybe I don't feel great in this moment, but like it's a building block, builds character. But like it ultimately, now looking back on like those harder moments, they are things that have made me into like who I am now. And I think that that's like the struggle. It's so hard to make it through the struggle, but then when you come out on the other side, like the strength that you feel from like having just overcome whatever like hardship you were just going through, I think is one of the best feelings.
Yeah. That resilience.
Yeah.
And you realize like, oh, I can do this. Like it's almost this realization of like, I didn't know I could do that. And now the next time it comes up, I think I'll be a little, not like I'm super comfortable with it, but now I think I'm going to survive. I think I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Competence definitely breeds confidence for sure. And once you've experienced something and you feel like you have a handle on it, that's going to be helpful. But what a cool thing. It takes a lot of people a long time, and some people never learn what you just said. That, wow, what can I learn from this? You know, there's very wise people have said, you know, like every moment that you have a teacher, basically. Like there's always something to be learned. And what a cool thing for you to realize so young.
And one thing that I also like love to like bring into my life, and that I like to like use as kind of like the way that I look at things, is that every person I meet, there's at least one thing I can learn from them. And it's like when I'm interacting with people, I'm like searching for that thing or like those things, like, because honestly, it's probably so much more than one, because everyone just comes from like such different experiences, and like experiences that I haven't had, which are going to make them look at the world in a different way. And like I'm always excited about learning how other people think and like what I can learn from them.
I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's like a bookmark moment right there. Like, no, that's really,
very
really
wise
cool.
thought.
Very wise thought from Ryan Samii. So tell us about your family. Like if someone, because most people listening probably don't know you. We've had the chance to get to know you now over a couple of years. Like tell us siblings, parents, all of that.
Yeah. So I have two parents, my mom and my dad, who are currently on vacation.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm like home alone with my sister. My brother is doing his post-grad trip in Europe right now.
Wow. So your brother finished college?
My brother just finished college. He just graduated from Middlebury College in Vermont, where he played baseball.
Okay.
So I have a very different college experience from my brother.
Yes.
The collegiate athlete versus the collegiate theater kid.
Remember, you're so much more than a theater kid, right? But like, what was his major at Middlebury?
Econ.
Okay.
Finance, one of the two.
Yeah. So something with money.
Something with money. He's doing a year-long master's in finance program at Vandy next year.
Okay, wow.
Vanderbilt University.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So obviously high achieving. Have this brother, college athlete, finance degree, Middlebury, now going to Vandy for grad school. I mean, this is high achieving kind of family, it sounds like. And now you're at Northwestern. That's significant. That's an impressive school.
Yeah. Yeah. And both my mom went to Michigan and my dad went to Notre Dame. So we did have that kind of like model to like, we did have that model to go after, where it was like, this is something that my parents have done and that they have achieved.
Yeah.
And it's something that they were always pretty, not like hard on us for, but they were always kind of thinking about like, when you go to college, which isn't everyone's experience.
No, without question.
I'm so grateful to have had
it's
that.
just kind of expected. No one ever had to say it out loud, but it was just kind of always there.
But my mom's parents didn't go to college, and my dad's parents went to college in Iran, and then they immigrated here for their medical residency because
wow.
they were doctors and they like got their doctorates in Iran and then came here.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful to have like been born into this family where my parents have been this great model of education and like what we are able to pursue, but they both had to work really hard to be able to give that to us.
No kidding. And I've met them. They're incredibly, I don't get the vibe like that they're writing you guys with their thumb on you to like perform and all of that, all this high pressure. They are so kind and they're so cool, down to earth.
Supportive. I'm so glad that they were like supportive of like me having an interest in the arts, even like through middle school and high school of like, oh yeah, we can get you in these acting classes. It's not a waste of time to like have this interest in theater because art is as important as finance and business.
That's right. That's right. It'd be a very like black and white, like kind of awful world without the arts.
What about your sister? What's she gonna do?
Yeah.
She is a rising senior in high school at Latin. She has interests in approximately everything she can.
Cool.
Triple major.
She played field hockey and lacrosse throughout most of high school.
Cool.
And then my senior year, I got her involved with tech crew for theater. So she helped like build our set for Mean Girls the musical.
Great show, by
which
the way.
was amazing.
I got to see it. It was great.
It was so fun.
Yeah, really fun.
And she loved doing that and like doing the hands-on, working with the power tools, the drills, impact drivers, all that stuff.
And you guys, you can't picture her because, podcast, but she is like this beautiful, like petite little, like, so I'm imagining Peyton with like this drill and like goggles on her and apron and just like sawdust everywhere.
She's also involved with 4 Students. She's on the Students for Students leadership team for Latin last year and this year. And yeah, she is looking at potentially going pre-med or business and the oars just keep going. But those are like her too. She's like, that sounds interesting to me and that sounds interesting to me. And I'm like, you go. Like, good for you.
Yeah.
Sure.
So growing up in this family where you have this very athletic brother, you're in theater, your sister's kind of coming along and just doing everything.
Yeah.
What is that dynamic like? Is your dad athletic? Is your mom theater, vice versa, dad theater, mom athletic? Like where are these things coming from?
Neither of my parents were ever involved in theater at all.
Okay.
Which was super interesting. My dad played tennis in college.
Okay.
So he's always been on the more athletic side.
Yeah.
He was always like the coach for my brother's little t-ball team, my soccer, flag football, t-ball. I tried every single sport possible, and I never found anything I actually like really enjoyed.
Yeah. Feel that. I'm not great at sports either.
And then I found theater, so that was my sport forever.
That's awesome.
I did my first show in 2nd grade, so it's been
wow.
So it's been like
what
a
was
part
it?
of me for a while.
What show?
Frosty the Snowman.
Frosty the Snowman.
Like the TV adaptation.
That's
it was
amazing.
probably an illegal production because I don't think there's an actual script.
Yeah, they wrote
it.
The theater department created just.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So I'm not going to say where it was. No, I'm not going to out them.
Don't out them. And they're illegal showing of Frosty the Snowman. No licensure for that.
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny. So like growing up, like, and I don't know, speak to this however you feel. I mean, I always just kind of in my thoughts and my questions just go brah. But here's your dad, athletic, college athlete, older brother, following your dad's footsteps, college athlete, other son coming along, theater. How is that? Because I've talked to your dad so many times and he cannot stop talking about how proud he is of you and that he has such different sons. But speak to what that felt like watching your college athlete dad and your college athlete older brother, and then, gay straight alliance president, theater kid, middle son. I don't know. Is there anything there that you felt or you would describe?
Yeah.
That's a big question. I'm sorry to kind of put you on the spot with all of that.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
My dad and my brother always did have a strong bond over sports.
Yeah.
And my brother, since he was little, knew the Notre Dame football roster and was invested in all these things. So they always had that to connect on. But my parents always made it a point to try to connect with all of us on whatever we were interested in. So when I did start getting into theater, both my parents would come with me to shows at Blumenthal or at Matthews Playhouse where I had been taking some classes, and just to support me in that and come see theater that I was interested in watching. And also like they were at every single show I did through elementary school, middle school, high school, multiple showings of them if there were.
That's right. We got tickets to all the shows.
And they were just always as supportive as they could be, and just like made sure I always knew that I had them there behind me if I ever needed it.
That's what it's always seemed from the outside. I was just curious.
They seem wonderful.
Experience. Yeah, they're incredible.
And I'm really grateful to have had that experience because especially like being in so many different theater spaces, like I know a lot of people whose parents are not as supportive of that.
Yeah.
True.
Even at like Northwestern, where we're all studying theater at like a higher level, some people, like I was saying, are there because their parents are like, you can double major while you're here and you can get a real job when you graduate.
When you're done. Yeah. And their hope is, without saying it out loud to their parents, I really hope I get a job like in film or in New York or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we met you, and you've kind of already alluded to this a little bit, because your younger sister Peyton has followed in your footsteps. But I think one of the founding members of Students for Students, which is our belonging kind of club, we create these spaces of belonging. We train upperclassmen to create small groups where they can discuss anything and everything with freshmen and sophomores on campus. But I think you were tapped on the shoulder by one of those founding members of that club at Latin and saying, hey, you're part of my succession plan. Like, you're going to come in after me. I think you'd be great at this. And then you spent 2.5 years, like kind of helping create that club.
Yeah, I joined halfway through my sophomore year when Cam Linker, who's also a summer intern.
Yes, that's another big thing is that you've come back from Northwestern. You're interning with us. Some of these other founding members are coming back in as well.
I was a GSA leader with Cam Linker that year because I started with GSA my sophomore year, which is also why it was such a big part of my identity at school. Because I had done it for like 3 years.
3 years,
But yeah, it was me, Cam Linker, and Mia Zatoli. We were like the trio. That was like the prime time of GSA. It was crazy. We were getting like 60 people at our meetings. It was
That's
great.
amazing.
We're
going to have to come back to that. I want to hear about that. That's kind of fascinating.
So I started halfway through my sophomore year with like lead team, which is kind of like the administrative business-oriented group behind being able to put on like all the Students for Students groups, like small groups within the school, working with like dean of students, head of school, guidance counselor, and kind of like making sure that everything was running smoothly and everything was in its right place so that these small groups could be as successful as possible.
All the way down, like who's signing up, how are we letting the students know sign-ups are this date, how are we going to form groups, who are the leaders of those groups, where are they each going to meet? It's vastly complicated to do this in a big school.
I forgot what the question was.
Oh, sorry. No, just kind of that experience of like getting tapped on the shoulder, and what has that been like, leading Students for Students?
I loved it. I think I found the most joy within like leading my own small groups.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I felt so invested in like hearing other people's stories of their small groups because I had put a good bit of work into like making sure that they were able to be successful. And like every time at regroup, I was always really excited to hear how the other groups were going and kind of just like what was happening with them and like how we could best support them. And like I've always had kind of like a problem solver mindset of like, okay, so here we've run into a couple problems with administration or with room bookings or with students not showing up. How are we going to address that, and what's the best way to do that so that everyone can mutually benefit from it?
Yeah, it was so fun. And regroups, I think we've talked about it before, but these events where we go on campus and meet with all the small group leaders at the school, feed them lunch, and then we sit around and talk, what's great, what's working great, let's celebrate, and then who's running into issues. Yeah. And let's group think, let's like as the hive come up with an answer to help everybody have a great group experience. Yeah, such fun times. That's awesome. And now you've already kind of said it, but now you've come back from college, your first year of college, and you are helping us as an organization, along with Cam and Frankie and Emerson. So Emerson and Cam, I think, were maybe the very first two ever. Yeah. I want to say that's who Emerson invited. She was the very first Students for Students student, and then I think she invited Cam to come with her. But yeah, you're all back helping us this summer. Has Whitney told you, what are you doing this summer? Do you know?
She kind of alluded to it. We have our first official meeting on Friday.
That's awesome.
From 3 to 5.
Okay.
Around the island, as we call it.
Yeah, that's what we call it too. It's our office.
It is.
It's where we meet and
Literally.
work. Yeah.
And I believe we're helping with the website and kind of like developing out the resources that are available on that.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's something that Cam was really excited about. And then I think we're also helping to create, I think it was started last summer, but kind of like really refining and adding to the Students for Students kind of, I'm going to call it a digital binder because that's a word that we use at college for stuff, where it's kind of like a Students for Students starter kit for someone who might be interested in starting it at their school. What resources are helpful? What steps should you take? What should you be sure that you're thinking about so that you don't run into these problems 5 weeks down the line when you finally start having those conversations with administration, and like just making sure or trying to set people up for success if they decide that this is something that they think their school would benefit from.
Yeah, it's
I feel
really
like
cool.
that's the perfect team
Without question.
for that mission.
Yes. Founding members, and then the people who inherited what the founding members handed off.
Yep.
Which is you. And then Frankie actually started this club. He was the second chapter that started at a school here in Charlotte.
Like
and I could have just completely
honestly.
lied to you. That's just what Whitney made it seem like we were doing.
She's told me that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's what you're doing. And then I'm also going to pull you all in because we have designed these modules that you've experienced a bunch of. And as attention spans get shorter and shorter and things like that, and things just have to be more and more engaging and punchier, like how can we even condense? We've already condensed our content down so small for every event. How do we make it even shorter and just get to the points, et cetera, more quickly so that students remain engaged, So that's also, I'm going to be pulling you in and helping me with that a little bit this summer too. It'll be really fun. But yeah, man. So what are you looking forward to? What's after like this summer, like going back this fall, what's the next big thing? Is there a trip this summer? What's next for Ryan?
On Saturday, my family and I are going to Spain. Which is super exciting.
That is really exciting.
I love Spain. I actually have never been, so I don't know why I said that. But from what I've learned,
from everything you've seen, you love it.
Spain is amazing.
I took Spanish since whenever they started us in school, all the way through senior year. I haven't taken any Spanish this year, which is why I'm like, we should go now because before I
forget everything.
Because I just don't have time in my schedule, honestly, to take it. And I've already like completed the language requirement just from what I did in high school. And I don't feel particularly inclined to like keep going, but I do think it's a really important skill. It's not something that is interesting enough for me to like spend all that time on it.
That makes sense.
But yeah, so we have that this summer.
That's incredible. By the way, are you following anything like in Barcelona and stuff with fortunately you and your family, you have dark hair, dark features, olive skin. So I don't know that you're going to stand out as if I went. But like in Barcelona and the cafes and these places, because of all the Airbnbs, prices are being driven up to such a level, then the property values are going up to the point where people who are born and raised there can't afford to live there anymore. So they're literally taking water guns, super soakers, and in the cafes, anyone that looks like they're not from Spain, they're just spraying tourists with water guns saying, go home. It's fascinating. So it's like this, that's a whole, man.
So maybe do some research.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe just bring an umbrella so you can pop it real quick.
Or just bring another super soaker.
Yes.
And be like, you get me, I get you.
That's right.
But no, I understand.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting and very complicated topic. Like,
Yeah.
But anyways, that sounds incredible.
But other than that, I'm working with you guys this summer.
Yep.
I'm going to be a peer advisor next year at Northwestern, so I'm like helping lead the freshmen through that.
Not surprising.
First week. So I have some summer prep to do for that. Reach out to the students and like introduce myself.
Cool. You'll have the name in your group ahead of time.
Yeah, I get it in mid-July.
That's really cool.
And then I'll like probably do a little summer Zoom to be like, let's get to know each other before we even go. My PA did that, and we did this thing where we were on Zoom, so we couldn't like see each other, and we, based on vibes, had to guess people's heights, which I thought was super fun.
That is really fun.
That's really fun.
Because people said I was like 5'8", 5'9". I'm like, I'm like, actually 6 feet tall.
Yeah, I was gonna say 6'1". I thought you're pretty tall. Yeah. Are you? You're the tallest person in your family. Or is your brother taller than you?
No.
That's fantastic. Because your dad. How tall is your dad?
5'5".
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your mom's not very tall either, and so you tower over the rest of your family
somehow, some way.
That's amazing.
Somehow, some way.
And then I'm also working as an assistant director, stage manager for Matilda Jr. at Lumi School of Musical Theater. It's like a 2-week-long summer camp intensive for like 8 to 12-year-olds, and they're gonna put on Matilda Jr.
That's fantastic.
That's so fun.
You look for all these opportunities to help and to stay busy. I was just thinking, you're not going to have any downtime, Ryan. You're going to jump right back into the fall.
I hate having downtime.
Okay,
like
well, that's
I
obvious.
took my 2 days to do nothing. When I came back from spring quarter, I was like, okay, I can rest. And then I'm like, I'm bored. I need stuff to do. Give me stuff to do.
That's so funny. Well, we're thankful that you're kind of investing in us
we are
and
excited.
all the stuff we're up to.
Of course.
And we want to make sure that you have time to get on your text Survivor, and it is
true.
time.
What time is it? It's 1:57.
It's 1:57, so perfect. Ryan, thanks so much for not only
you
setting
guys for
aside time
having
to come
me.
on the podcast, but coming and working with us this summer and help us push this thing forward. We love having you around.
Yes, I love this organization, and I will always help out in any way.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Cool. Thank you.